I'm here to talk about cold brew coffee. There are a lot of myths and misconceptions about cold brew, and I think understanding some of these is really important in understanding how the cold brew market trend can impact your business. So this glass of iced coffee right here might be cold brew, but it might not be. Iced coffee or any coffee served cold is not the same as cold brew. There are unique flavor characteristics in the cold brew cup that are not universal to iced coffee. And in fact, many iced coffees that are served are not good. Cold brew is brewed in a way that really brings out the flavor characteristics. And we'll talk a little bit more about this. So think of cold brew as a brewing method, not a serving method. So traditionally, most coffee is brewed with steaming hot water. With cold brew, however, you're replacing heat with time. So instead of running steaming hot water over your coffee grounds, with cold brew, you steep your coffee grounds or drip cool water over your coffee grounds over an extended period of time. And what's produced is a very different beverage in chemistry, in flavor profile, in the length of time that it stays fresh. And for these and many other reasons, it has become a market trend and also a driver of change in the coffee economy. In fact, in this Technavio report from last year, it states that the cold brew coffee market share is expected to increase again, to increase by 1.37 billion US globally between 2020 and 2025. And the market growth momentum is also continuing at acceleration rate of compound annual growth rate of 26.44. So these growth rates that we've been seeing over the past several years are causing coffee professionals in all areas of the industry to really take pause and think about, what does this mean for me and how do I jump on this trend? Similarly, in the Starbucks annual shareholder meeting last year, the CFO talked about how cold brew has driven their overall market for cold coffee sales. And she admits that she also has become a consumer of cold coffee. As Starbucks likes to say, cold is hot. So cold brew has not only impacted the cold brew market, but has really changed consumer preferences towards cold coffee across the world. So let's pause for a minute and think about how this matters and how this impacts you as a coffee professional. So whether you're a producer or a roaster, whether you're an importer or an exporter, a coffee shop owner, a barista, these changes in market preferences will impact you, and you have opportunities to really pay attention to them and leverage them for the growth of your business and your career. That said, there are more and more options flooding the market. Consumers have a lot of choices, and consumers are actually becoming more and more sophisticated consumers of cold brew and iced coffee in general. So simply putting a cold cup of coffee in front of a consumer is not going to earn their loyalty. Differentiation matters, and it matters now more than ever. One thing that's really important to note about cold brew coffee is that when it's brewed, it tastes different than its hot brewed coffee counterpart. And that matters because so many of the tools that we as coffee professionals use to understand, evaluate, and grade coffee are not directly applicable to cold brew coffee. The flavor profiles that you get from these traditional grading and evaluation methods do not directly translate to cold brew. So if you're simply relying on your cupping that you use for traditional coffee methods, in order to understand your cold brew, you're going to be missing out on quite a bit of information. I think these differences are worth exploring and they're worth discovering. It takes a little bit more effort in order to understand what the possibilities are with your coffees, in order to really fine-tune the quality in the cup and the potential offerings to your customers. But that process of exploration and discovery is really what is separating the quality cold brews from those that are mediocre or simply iced coffee labeled cold brew. So I don't want to say that there are universal characteristics in the cold brew cup. Each coffee is going to present differently when brewed cold. That said, there's more and more research that's coming out, and in fact, the Coffee Science Foundation has partnered with UC Davis to do a multi-year research project on cold brew. And some of the characteristics that are commonly different between the cold brew cup and the hot brew cup are as follows. Cold brew is often perceived to be sweeter. Notes of floral or other delicate flavor profiles are easier to taste, especially to untrained tasters. And again, when tasting side by side the same coffee brewed cold versus hot, the tasters found that the hot brew version had more prominence of bitterness, even burnt flavor profiles and sour flavor profiles. So, knowing some of these basics about how the flavors differ can really give you some opportunities on how to start this exploration. Another factor that's really important to consider is roasting. There's not a universal roast profile for cold brew. And I think it's important to not just carefully select your coffees, but carefully roast them in a way to accentuate the flavors that you want and manipulate how those will translate into the cup. So I've talked a lot about flavor exploration and discovery and sensory analysis. And I get a lot of questions about, how do you do this? My team several years ago started on a process of developing a cold brew cupping protocol, as well as a suite of tools to do that. And the reason is because it's challenging to, as I mentioned, take the information you get from a cupping and translate that into cold brew. So we endeavored to make that process easier so that you could do side-by-side sensory analysis of a variety of coffees, whether the variable is the coffee itself, the roast level, the grind setting, the water quality, the extraction time. We worked to make it easier, and we worked with people in the industry across the world in order to make it as applicable as possible. There's a website called coldbrewcupping.com that has a lot of these resources for free. I'll be here, as well as my colleagues, Kristen and Macarena, over the next couple days if you want to talk about it. But in addition, you can also reach out to us online after this weekend. So I think some of the opportunities for roasters, producers, importers, exporters, and those of us that serve coffee are pretty endless. One of the things that I discovered early on in my days of trying cold brew coffee was that the flavors were easier to pick out. In the earlier chart, we talked about how the bitterness in cold brew coffee is less apparent, and that the way that bitterness interacts with other flavors such as sweetness on the palate makes it very competitive. So when you're removing the bitterness, a lot of these other flavors become more pronounced. So it makes it easier for untrained tasters to taste some of the flavor profiles in the cup. One of my first experiences was a natural process coffee from Ethiopia, and we called it the blueberry bomb because so many people who tried this coffee brewed cold could taste the blueberries. And these are people who maybe grab a bag of coffee from the market and they read the notes. They never actually taste those things in the cup. But with cold brew coffee, it actually makes it easier to perceive some of these more subtle characteristics. I've seen a lot more producers around the world being intentional about how they're growing and processing coffees that are destined for cold brew. And I've learned a lot from them. It's not just the bean selection, but how the bean is, how the cherry is treated throughout its life cycle. And then the processing methods can make a really big impact on the flavor in the cup and the sweetness. And there's no right way. The goal is for differentiation. So discovering, designing, developing something that's really going to tell the best story about the coffee, that's really going to give your customers something that they can't get elsewhere, something that they're going to fall in love with, and something that's going to build loyalty. And that can be impacted by everyone in the value stream. So there's a lot of cold brew going on here at PRF. We're really excited to be a part of that. I'd encourage you to visit some of the stands who are serving cold brew, and especially ask them if they're serving cold brew, do they have the same coffee available as a pour over or a different hot preparation. That's a really amazing way to really understand the differences in the cup between hot brewed coffee and cold brewed coffee. Sometimes they taste very similar, and oftentimes, however, the flavors are completely different. One of the best ways to understand cold brew is to try it and try it and try it and try it. Multiple different coffees, different processing methods, varietals, origins, and that will help you understand the possibilities and hopefully give you some inspiration on how you can develop a cold brew program that's going to be winning for you. The cold brew competition, I think, is a really great way to see what people around the world are doing with cold brew. I was surprised to learn that a lot of the competitors at this event are not from El Salvador. The competition is catching on, and there are people from Europe, there are people from Colombia, and other places who are competing. And unfortunately, we don't have the opportunity to share the competitors' beverages with the audience, but the competitors do a really good job of describing why they chose the coffee, how they brewed it, and the choices that they're making for serving. And I think I have the privilege of being a judge, and when I judged in Medellin, it was very inspirational. There are things that the competitors were doing there were things I'd never heard of with cold brew, and a lot of it was about the processing method, but also the coffee selection. As I mentioned, there are a lot of free resources at coldbrewcupping.com. Those are available for anyone in the industry, and it's how do you approach cold brew cupping? How do you do a sensory analysis? What is it about cold brew cupping that is similar versus different about hot brew cupping? And how can you make that be a part of your day-to-day evaluation processes? It's really simple, straightforward, and I can't tell you how often my team uses cold brew cupping to make decisions about coffee every day. And if you have other questions, my team at Toddy is happy to engage. You know, whether you use our products or not, we learn the most from other professionals in the industry. And it's our goal to continue these conversations and innovate not just products, but also solutions, and continue the conversation about cold brew, especially to increase the quality and inspire customers. Thank you.